How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. We also got to put in the disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor and this isn't financial advice. Just know when you do invest, you're doing it at your own risk. So today we're going to be talking about Bionano Genomics. It's been a while since we did an update, so we're going to be doing one today. So before we get started, let's go over the agenda. And also, if you're new to this channel, just to let you know, we have timestamps down below in the description. Now, the first thing that we're going to be going over is their most recent financial report. It was fairly strong, so I'm going to be going over the number as well. I'm going to be going over some highlights and then giving you my take on it as well. Then when that's done, we'll be taking a look at the technical analysis. We want to see where's that support, where's that resistance, where do we want to see the price, what is the upside. By knowing all of these things before we actually purchase shares, we know whether we're going to be getting it at a good price. And then when that is done, we're going to be on Fintel taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and as well as the short interest information. I feel this is key to know. We want to know, what is the overall market sentiment? Are institutions loading the boat when it comes to BNGO? And then when all of that is done, I'll be giving you guys my final thoughts and as well going over the analyst's recent upgrades in regards to price targets. So let's get into it. So we're going to be going over the most recent financial results for BNGO Bionano Genomics, which is pretty much Q1 2021. So let's get right into it. So BNGO today reported financial results and business achievements for the first quarter ended March 31st, 2021 and highlighted recent corporate updates. I will be including a link in the description. We're not going to go over the entire thing. We're just going to focus on the important things for investors. So 2021 is off to a solid start for Bionano. In the first quarter, we sold a record number of flow cells, analyzed a record number of samples in our service lab, and drove broad adoption of the Sapphire instruments and ramped up the installation of Sapphire systems that weren't yet operational because of 2020's travel restrictions. So this is definitely great news to hear for investors. We want to see the Sapphire system being more widely used. And the fact that they were able to actually make some improvements due to the fact that they did have some constraints in 2020 is great to hear. So let's continue. With the largest number of Sapphire systems in service analyzing more genomes than ever before, we are seeing a sharp increase in the quality and scale of studies that are being published and presented and the awareness that they build. So this is also great news as well. The fact that it's actually showing up that, hey, studies are starting to improve as far as the data, the quality, the validity is great to hear, because this does help ensure that, you know what, for the long term, things will look good for Bionano. I'm going to kind of skip a little bit forward here, and this is another part that I want everyone to actually hear. Our customers continued development of the Sapphire-based assays for structural variation analysis in our key growth areas of prenatal and postnatal genetics, hematologic malignancies, and solid tumors in Europe, the US, Canada, and new markets across the world. So the fact that they're getting their Sapphire system into these particular parts of the world, we know these are definitely big markets that present big opportunities for Bionano Genomics, and I feel that it's great news to see that, you know what, things are looking good. So now we're going to scroll a little bit forward here, and we're going to be taking a look at the key business highlights, and then afterwards we're going to be taking a look at the financial highlights, which is definitely going to have an impact on the overall stock price. So the company executed on its commercialization strategy, continued to build scientific momentum by presenting data at key scientific meetings, and drove utilization of Sapphire at key institutions across the globe with the following notable announcements. So you see this up on your screen right now. I'm just going to show it. We're not going to be going through every single one of them, but the ones that I want you to actually have on your radar and pay attention to. So this is in regards to conventions that they've been doing. Hosted the next generation cytogenomics symposium, which featured distinguished speakers from around the globe describing how OGM could be applied to clinical research and discovery research in prenatal and postnatal genetic diseases, hematologic malignancies, and solid tumors, and host genome COVID research. So definitely great that they're spreading the awareness and showing how valuable the Sapphire system actually is. Also, expanded into new geographic markets, including South Africa, Greece, Russia, South Korea, and important clinical sites in the UK and Germany. King's College Hospital in London and the NHS Regional Genetics Laboratory in Belfast City Hospital adopted the Sapphire systems. Gained Sapphire adoption by the University Health Network in Toronto, which is very big because, hey, I live down here, which has the largest hospital diagnostic lab in Canada. Amazing news right here for Bionano Genomics. These are the things that you really want to hear if you're an investor. And just to kind of move a little bit further, which I feel is very important, they also increase the speed of our compute on-demand cloud computing solution by 30% and reduce the cost to the end user by 50%. So the institutions that have been using the Sapphire system, and also as well as Bionano Genomics offerings, they're receiving benefits, not only in the fact of improved studies, but also reduced costs. Again, this helps with overall adoption as well. There's some other notable highlights here. You guys can take a look at that, but let's get into the financial highlights. Total revenue was $3.2 million for the 3 months ended March 31st, 2021. Up 179% from $1.1 million in the same period of 2020. Revenue increased in all regions. The increase in product sales was driven by increased demand of our Regent rental program and consumables, while the increase in service revenue was primarily driven by sales from our Leanigan subsidiary. So to sum that up, that is great to see that revenue increase quite substantially for BNGO, and this is what you want to see, especially when you're investing in growth stocks. Next one, gross margin for the first quarter of 2021 was 33%, up 8% from 25% in the same period in 2020. So we have some improvement there. The increase was primarily due to a shift in our product mix toward higher margin consumables and services. So what this means is when institutions actually purchase a Sapphire system, again, we have the assays that they make money off of, so pretty much the consumables, the tools that they have to use, right? So the fact that the Sapphire system, when they have it in place, it brings in extra revenue because the more they use it, the more money they have to spend to actually supply for their studies and so forth. So this is actually great to see. It is not high, but I'm looking forward for the next quarter to see actually some improvements there. Operating expense for the first quarter of 2021 was $12.2 million, an increase of approximately $2.2 million compared to $10 million for the same period in 2020. The change is primarily due to increased headcount and material and supply expense, offset by a $1 million decrease in bad debt expense. So they're letting us know, keeping us updated. We want to know what the expenses are and are they keeping it under control. And for what it's looking like, it looks like they're doing just that. At March 31st, 2021, the company had cash and cash equivalents of $362 million compared to cash and cash equivalents of $38.4 million at December 31st, 2020. The increase in cash is due to the equity raises that were completed in January 2021. So this is in regards to when they did their offering, they were able to actually increase their cash positions by a very substantial amount. So taking this into consideration, knowing that they definitely have a lot of cash on hand is great to hear. We know that, you know what, they'll be able to fund themselves as we start to progress, especially through the years. There could definitely be some opportunities of more cash raising in the future, but for now, from what it's looking like, they definitely have a solid amount of cash on hand. A gain on debt extinguishment of $1.8 million was recognized during the 3 months ended March 31st, 2020. Due to the forgiveness in full of our PPP loan, including all accrued interest. So this was great to get this update. We're seeing that they're able to manage that very well. And like I said, the fact that they're very cash heavy just means that they can invest more into the business and grow in the areas where they're seeing a lot of success with. So upcoming milestones for 2021. So the reason why I want to go over this with you guys, because again, this can have an impact on the stock price and in regards to price action. So we need to go over this, okay? So for the second quarter for 2021, accreditation of Sapphire-based LTEs for all FSHDs in certain EU markets, so European. For the third quarter, commercial release of prenatal assays and expansion of the menu of pediatric assays. So again, this is in relation to the Sapphire system, using those assays to help with their diagnostic studies and so forth. Q4, Interim publication results from pediatric clinical study. Fourth quarter, validation of the LDTs by 3 sites in both our prenatal clinical study and our pediatric clinical study. Q4, initial prototype of next-gen high-throughput Sapphire. And next Q4, reach installed base of 150 systems to achieve a 50% increase over year end of 2020. So we're going to be doing a technical analysis for BNGO Bionano Genomics. So let's see where it closed on Friday. So it closed at $5.40, being up 22.45% on the day. On the low, it tested $4.99, and then on the high, testing $5.58. So the chart that we're looking at is actually the 6 months 2-hour chart. So if we take a look at our indicators here, it is below the 200-day, below the 100-day, but it is showing a bullish trend riding above the 21-day EMA. What we saw when it tested that support right at 5, it rebounded fairly well. Do keep in mind on Friday, we had a strong day inside the market. So what I'd be looking for next week is seeing how well it could hold down this $5 area of support. We see in the past this has been an area of support for BNGO, so we want to see that continue. If it does decide to end up breaking, then you already know we want to look out for levels around the mid 4s, or even possibly if you can get it down to 430s if it does decide to pull back. Even if we take a look at the current RSI down below, it is around 55, so just a little bit above fair value at the moment. Part of the reasons why I say it's best to get this on a pullback at a cheaper price than 540. Also, do keep in mind, when it does hit that low of 430 and we had this gap up here, I want you guys to understand that and be aware of that. So if it does pull back in that particular area, that is a strong opportunity to strike. Even if you take a look at the RSI down below, it was literally around 20. So anything 30 or below is oversold. So I just want you guys to be aware of that and be able to pounce on that if you are interested, of course. Now, what I want to end up actually seeing, because I am a shareholder of BNGO, I want to see some strong moves to the upside, and I feel like if the market is starting to recover, we can get exactly that and see a test here right at the 100-day around $5.90. And I know if we can get to that particular area, we could definitely make a strong move going into 6. But for the most part, let's be patient here. We had a good day on Friday. We want to see if this is going to continue for Monday, for the rest of the week, and for the rest of the month. If it doesn't and there's more volatility, we already know where we can snap up some shares at a really good price. So we're on Fintel.io, and we're going to be taking a look at the recent institutional ownership for BNGO and as well as the short interest information. So as we scroll down on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So we can see here, and we're going to be taking a look at the 14th because that's what's been going down recently. Definitely a lot of institutional activity, but it's been bullish for the most part. Yes, we have 3 institutions that had closed positions, but that doesn't really matter because if we even look, and even Vanguard Group on the 14th, which was Friday, just got to reiterate it again, increased their position by almost 30%. So taking this into consideration, Vanguard upping their position by 30 is definitely fairly significant, as you can see, just under 10 million shares. If we take a look at HAP Trading, they got in 60,000 shares, and we also have Wolverine Trading going with 202,000 shares. Do keep in mind we have calls and we also do have puts. These are just hedging strategies for institutions and what hedge funds actually do. But for the most part, we're seeing definitely a lot of buying on the institutional side, what looks really good for BNGO. So we take a look at the short interest information. So short volume ratio stands at around 21% as of the end of Friday. So taking that into consideration, we look for short squeezes at that 21% level. So it's literally sitting right on it. So if the markets continue to look strong, we could definitely see some good price action in BNGO. Take a look at the short shares availability. It stands at 900,000 and the short ball free rate stands at 2.09%. Taking a look at the history of the short volume ratio, it being at 21.32 as for Friday. If we take a look at previous days here, this is definitely a high compared to where we have going back as far as May the 3rd. So what does this mean? So a lot of people, or let's just say institutions, are looking at BNGO stock and are saying, well, you know what, the current price of where it's at, we don't believe that it should be at that current price, so we're going to be shorting the stock. So that's pretty much what that means. So that's why we have a lot of short interest right at 21. So it'll be interesting at the end of day Monday to see what that actually looks like, whether it's going to be higher or it's going to be lower. We're just going to have to wait and see. So let's take a look at the recent analyst price targets for BNGO. So we have it here at $12. So the upside is 122%. On the low, $10. On the medium, $12. And then on the high at $14. Considering the current stock price is at $5.40, this is a great opportunity here. If we take a look, we have 3 analysts that rated a strong buy, 0 say hold, and 0 say sell. So just taking this into consideration, things are definitely looking good and the market seems to be liking BNGO. Now let's get into the final thoughts. So for my final thoughts for Bionano Genomics, we've been talking about this stock for quite some time on the channel, and I am still bullish on my overall thesis. It was great to see that they had a strong earnings report, and we do see institutions are showing some interest as well. If you believe in the long-term prospects of BNGO, then I definitely see some reasons here to actually continue to have that same sentiment. Also, we want to consistently see success in regards to the earnings reports. I want to see that continue until the rest of the year, and I know with seeing that, it's definitely going to have an impact on the overall stock price. And overall, in general, I'm going to continue to add to my position, especially since what we saw from this earnings report, that the Sapphire system and the way they can have make reoccurring revenue from it, it's definitely looking really good in the areas that they're really focusing and so forth. So for anyone who's thinking about BNGO, do some more homework, do your due diligence. So if you do decide to invest in this company, you'll have high conviction, just like myself. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll be talking real soon.